Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we are looking at 3 new cards that will complete Fairy Rise. Now, when I say complete, I'm not talking about pre-evolutions. But we have talked about every other card from Fairy Rise. We've talked about all the trainers. We've talked about all of the evolutions and the non-evolving basics and all of that. But there's a couple we haven't looked at. And let's start with Dedenne. Everyone loves Dedenne because Dedenne is really cute. This new card is okay. In a pre-release, it's going to be super annoying. Outside of that, It's got 70 HP, and look, the best thing I'll say about it is that with 70 HP and a weakness to metal, it means that Registeel will not be getting a one-hit KO. Yay! Outside of that, honestly, it's just pretty gosh darn weak. 70 is still better than a lot of these 60 HP Pokemon like Routes, for instance, but of course they evolve into bigger, badder Pokemon, and Dedenne does not. And then of course you got the resistance to darkness, kind of irrelevant given your low HP, and the 1 retreat cost, which is good because it means you can use a skateboard to give yourself free retreat. And you are hitting weakness on Rayquaza, which is good, but then again, you're just not doing very much damage here. Our translations for all of these cards do come, of course, from the lovely David Hochmann over at rappelmantcg.com/translations, and the 1 attack for 1 fairy energy, 10 damage, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. If tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Kind of weird because usually heads is the good one, and I'd usually rather have paralysis over confusion. Paralysis, they cannot attack or retreat, wears off next turn. And confusion, they need to flip a coin to attack. If tails, they take 30 damage and don't attack. And then, the end of their turn is over. But they can still retreat out of it. So, I think it's quite nice. This reminds me of the Dugong from Fates Collide, I think it was. A card which I was very not fond of because I played in an early pre-release with the kits. And I played against this Dugong. And, that one had flip a coin, if heads, paralysis, if tails, sleep, and oh my goodness, I hated it, because in a pre-release it's hard to get out of. As a single energy basic in a pre-release, this is going to be great for saving you a little bit of time, maybe even getting some confusion damage on the board, but that really is about the best use for Dedenne. Even with a choice band and weakness, you're only hitting 80, which isn't even a 2-hit KO on Rayquaza, so I don't think as an attacker it's going to particularly work. It's just annoying. And in standard format, when everyone's got all of their Guzma rolling and people are probably playing a skateboard, it's not going to be much good. But in a pre-release, or any kind of limited format, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Although, as the lovely David Hochmann pointed out, best artwork in the entire set. Now, I disagree on a personal level. I think Chandelure has the best artwork in the set. I think that's absolutely stunning. But you can't blame David for his opinion, because this card is pretty gosh darned cute. I'm going to end up giving Dedenne 3 Wassies, and maybe it's the artwork, maybe it's the fact that you can really annoy at pre-releases, maybe it's the fact that it's a guaranteed special condition, or maybe I'm just swayed by cute little fairy rodents. Either way, 3 Wassies. Less cute, but also a basic, Sableye. Sableye is a psychic Pokemon with 80 HP, which, it's alright, it's not great, it's alright. Retreat cost of 1 again opens up a skateboard, but because it's a ghost Pokemon, no weakness, no resistance. Now, to be honest, 80 HP is pretty low, so the no weakness is less relevant. But hey, it means that Garbodor needs, 4 items rather than 2 to KO you. Is that a particularly big advantage? If so, go Sableye. And you are hitting weakness on Buzzwole as a psychic Pokemon. Oh no, wait, you've got no attacks to actually do damage. Scrap that. You're not hitting weakness on Buzzwole. Now, 2 attacks on this Sableye. First one for 1 colorless energy, Fast Hunt. You can only use this attack if you went second and it's your first turn. We've seen a bunch of these attacks lately. Sneasel probably my favourite, discarding the energy, but these keep coming around. Search your deck for any card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So basically, if you end up going second, you can use your attack to search for any one card. and I don't know how much of a fan I am of this. You see, the issue here is that it ends your turn. Now, we're not going to have end, that's going to be rotating, but we're still going to have judge that your opponent could potentially use to get rid of this, to give you a new hand. But let's say your opponent doesn't. Let's say your opponent lets you keep that card. On the one hand, yeah, you've got whatever card you want for next turn. On the other hand, it's one card. And we're getting Steven's Resolve in the set, which is a supporter card that ends your turn, but it gets you any free cards. And would you rather have free cards or one card? And that's kind of my issue with Sableye. I can do what Sableye does, but I can do it much better using a supporter card. Now, to be fair, it is a supporter card, so with Sableye you can, for instance, play a Cynthia, and then use Sableye to search for any one card. But honestly, I just think this is incredibly underwhelming. Plus, it's only kind of a one-shot thing. I cannot recommend it for this attack. 1 Psychic Energy, Curse Drop, put 3 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you like. I think it's not garbage. It's not out-and-out unplayable. But we can do better, to be honest with you. For 1 Psychic Energy, there are better places to put your energy attachments for the turn. I mean, look, it is damage counters, not damage, so if there's, say, a Magikarp on the bench, then you will be able to drop damage onto it, and it's only got 30 HP, so you can KO it. But that's about the most I can say. I'm going to be giving Sableye 2 Wussies, because honestly, both the attacks are incredibly underwhelming, and I can't see much use for it. Sorry, Sableye. And finally, Shiinotic, a Pokemon that pretty much always has an ability, so it shouldn't surprise you to find out that this Shiinotic has an ability. Now, it's also got a retreat cost of 2, which is kind of awkward, a weakness to metal, which means it will be 1-hit KO by Duskmane Necrozma with the attack for free energy, a resistance to darkness, which doesn't really do anything because Zoroark can still get a 1-hit KO even with the resistance, and you are hitting weakness against Rayquaza, so you know, we've got that. Now, the ability is the best thing about Shiinotic here. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, and is damaged by an opponent's Pokemon's attack, the attacking Pokemon is now asleep. So if your opponent hits Shiinotic while he's in the active, and it's got to be in the active, so if, say, a Buzzwole hits it while it's on the bench, that won't work, then it goes to sleep. The thing is, sleep is not the best special condition. Poison would automatically put some damage on them, although I suppose you could use Poison Barb if you really wanted that as well, and sleep and poison will be a fun combination. And confusion means that they might take damage when they try and attack, and paralysis means they definitely can't attack, or they've got to play something like a Guzma to get out the active. Whereas sleep, they've got to flip a coin if heads are no longer asleep. And the issue is, right, they attack and fall asleep, and then they flip a coin. If heads they wake up, then it's your turn. Then you attack them, then it's between turns, then you flip a coin. If heads, you wake up. If they attack Shiinotic and fall asleep, they have got 2 chances to wake up, meaning they've actually got a 75% chance of being awake by the time it gets back to their turn, and now we see why this Shiinotic gets a little bit underwhelming. They are putting themselves to sleep on their turn when they attack, meaning that they get 2 chances to wake up. There's a 25% chance you're going to leave them asleep with this on a 100 HP Pokemon without a particularly good attack. Now, the attack is actually kind of interesting, it's just never going to work. 2 Fairy Energy, Dream Touch, 50 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep, shuffle all energy cards attached to it into your opponent's deck. That's actually really, really fun. We talked about this with Tapu Fini the other day. But you see, Tapu Fini was shuffling the card and all cards attached to it into their deck. So you get rid of the only Pokemon they've got, none on the bench, and all of a sudden, you win the game. You can get rid of evolution Pokemon, I don't know, let's say Metagross, and they've got to try and get them back up again. They've got to try and get the basic, get the evolutions, get it rolling. All sounds very good. Shiinotic doesn't. Shiinotic gets rid of the energy. And yeah, sure, sometimes you're going to be facing down a Ho-Oh, and your opponent's going to have used a Kiawe to get 4 energy on there, and that's going to be awesome. And sometimes you're going to be facing down a Gardevoir with loads of energy on, and this is going to be awesome. But you're not getting rid of the Pokemon, so they can just put the energy back on. You can't get rid of their only Pokemon and win the game. Tapu Fini came out as this Pokemon with this cheeky little attack that could actually win the game. And I got very excited. This gets rid of some energy. But here's the deal, right? This is only when it works. Your best chance here is your opponent attacks you, falls asleep, and then you immediately do 50 and get rid of all their energy. But even then, there's only a 50% chance they're going to flip tails and stay asleep. There's a 50% chance they're going to be awake. And you've got 100 HP. And this is a 2 energy attack. Counter energy can be used here. You can put it in a Gardevoir deck, but there's like a million better options, so I don't see why you would. This is just an attack that's rarely going to work. And even when it works, it's incredibly, fundamentally, profoundly underwhelming. Just use Tapu Fini. I know Tapu Fini's on a coin flip, but you can use Victini and have a 75% chance. You can use Mina and get it going in one turn. It's a basic Pokemon. There's a lot of reasons to use Tapu Fini. I am struggling to find reasons to use Shiinotic. So I'm giving it 2 Wassies, and I'm sitting here and looking frankly disappointed. But maybe you're less disappointed, or maybe you're excited about Dedenne, or maybe Sableye is tickling your fancy. If you want to tell me what you think about these cards, and I'd very much like it if you did, if you can find a good use for any of these cards, then let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.